And what this is starting to form into is, yes, a men's group, but also an example of a men's group. And it's on video, and we all can, if we all agree to participate with our little pictures and the stuff we say, we can get this out into the world, and we can be doing a men's group and also being of amazing service to others by exposing them to this new format and the way that conscious men talk to each other. So I'm just, it's very exciting. I talked to Colin about this, and he gave me some guidance, and it's the more I look, the more there are very good men's groups around, and for the men who are in them, they're being served like crazy. It's great. Mankind Project is flourishing, and all kinds of different things. But this has the potential to actually expose the wild, huge percentage of men who never heard of this to this. And maybe my goal is to have virtual men's groups be as ubiquitous as yoga or going to the gym, just a part. Like, imagine that in 10 years. Oh yeah, you're not in a men's group? Wow. Okay. Wow. I can hook you up. You got to get, come to Michael Taylor's or whatever. So it's exciting. And that's okay. So logistically there, if you don't want your picture to be here, if you have second thoughts afterwards and you say, I don't want to, we can easily block you out. But if you are okay with being in a little box, but not having anything you say, tell me that. But if so does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Jim has had some great guidance as far as what we're doing right now. And with this format where you can't read body language, or you can't actually smell and hear and feel and see how big someone is or whatever, it can be useful to be animated. Like, when a good point, give a thumbs up or give a smile or do whatever, yeah. And I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday who I was explaining this whole thing, and they said he heads a group, and he's developed a thing where if something happens and a man gives a heartfelt share that you feel in your body, then just hold up a little finger, just maybe for 3 seconds. It's like a indicator that, whoa, that hit me, and don't distract, but just, a little. All right.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? All right. So I'm hearing a little bit of music.
I think that's coming from the background where I am, so I'll mute until
cool.
Until I need to.
Okay. So let's do a simple drop-in. So I invite you to close your eyes. If you're seated in a chair, just find a nice, comfortable posture with your feet on whatever they're on, the floor or the chair. And the best guideline to how to sit is sit as comfortably as possible while still maintaining your dignity. And from there, we can start to let the breath relax our body. Every inhale is a fresh opportunity. Every exhale is a cleanse of unneeded ideas, feelings, and chemicals. And start to relax your face. Even dramatically stop making any expression. Sometimes that results in kind of a droopy face, which is good. Feel that face not doing anything, not doing any work whatsoever, not trying to do anything, just being flesh. And feel how that affects your heart and your whole nervous system. And then we'll let our attention travel down through the upper abdomen, through the shoulders, just dropping those shoulders. A lot of tension is stored there. Through the chest. And as we come down through the rib cage, down into the third chakra area, just hover there. Let your attention rest right between your sternum and your belly button. You can even put your right hand on that and your left hand on your right. Remembering to breathe. And what we're going to be doing tonight is some softer practices. And so it's very helpful to relax this part, this third chakra. It's called the Dantian, some places, the assemblage point, kind of the intuition center, sense of self is housed here. And we can just relax it. Take off the pack. On your exhales, just release any expectations. Some words that come are gentle, tender, open. Feel how when you open this part, it affects your heart. And then we could drop our hands, travel the rest of the way, relaxing our legs down through our ankles into the floor. And then in a slow, continuous motion, let's bring the center of attention up through the floor, into our feet, through the legs, through the hips, the abdomen, the shoulders, through the head, through the top of the head, joining heaven's force. And then back down, and then back up with each breath in a sacred cycle, never ending. It's us. It's love. It's life. Take 30 more seconds or so and just feel all of that. And then when you're ready, we can open our eyes together and delve into the call. All right. So how about we check in today with name, where you're from, especially for the new guys. How did you come to be ready to jump on something like this? And then let's also check in with something that happened in the past week that last week we talked about the divine feminine. And so something that happened in the past week where you felt there was amazing sacredness, synchronicity, beauty as it pertained to the divine feminine. And when you say this, if you can, say it as a service to all of us. If that makes sense, it's what you're gonna be bringing your beautiful moment and basically giving it as a gift for all the rest of the men on the call. And if that's too much moving parts, then name, where you're from, and what lights you up exactly. I have a tendency, especially when we drop in like that, I have a tendency to get too serious and dramatic, and but we're here to, yes.
Got it. I'll start.
Awesome.
Michael Taylor, Houston, Texas. How I came to be a part of this group, well, I've been doing men's work for about 20 years and had the privilege of meeting Tom Kelly at a men's retreat, if you will. Fell in love with the guy immediately. Just loved everything about it. My beautiful moment this week, my daughter, who is now 30, just purchased her first home.
Wow.
And she's, I've been in construction and building materials for a very long time. So she's always calling me with questions about, they were building her house and she said, Dad, should they be doing this? Or should they be doing that? Or what about this? And so she's got all these questions and she's always coming to me, Dad. And I realized that when I was about 8 years old, I made a commitment and a promise to myself that I was going to be a great father. And I made that choice as a result of my dad not being a great father. And so when my daughter calls me and she's asking all these questions and she's saying, Dad, I need you. I want you to be there. And it just warms my heart that I have that type of relationship with my daughter, that she comes to me and shares this precious time with her, for her. And I'm just filled with gratitude as a father that my daughter's doing so well. And it just really just warms my heart to be able to say that I've been a great dad. So that's my divine feminine moment for the week. And I'm in.
Oh. Eric just chatted, holding up a finger.
Yes.
I want to interject for a second. I neglected to introduce Jim Channon at the beginning. I don't. Yeah. So Jim is co-leading these groups at this point and mentoring me, and we are co-creating, like I was saying earlier, something that has never really been done before. And I would like just to introduce Jim as one of the most unique people on the earth, and a counterbalance to all that to a lot of the stuff we see in popular culture and politics and all that. He's literally going the opposite direction of the dark forces. And it's just amazing that he's joining us in this capacity. And David P., good to see you.
All right.
He's joining us in this capacity as an elder and as an elder and as an equal. It's a testament to him that he's just shoulder to shoulder, you know, checking in, doing all the stuff we're doing. So I will let him, when he's ready tonight, give a little bit more of a scope of yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So David P., we're checking in. Michael Taylor's checked in. We're checking in with a name, where you're from, and a amazing moment with the divine feminine, or some type of amazing moment this week that, yeah, just kind of sample the rest, and you'll get the gist.
Should I go now, or is
it's no particular order. That's right. I got to keep in mind that you and Chris it's your first time here. So yeah, no particular order. Just when there's a pause, if you feel moved, jump in.
okay? Well, I'm Elliot Levy. I know Tom from Four Vibrations Drum Circle for a couple of years now, and just always thought he was a great guy. And when I saw he was doing something like this, I figured I got to check it out. You know, I've done some men's groups in the past. There was a guy in Nyack who ran a couple of them, Neil Levy. I don't know if you know Neil. So I've done some with him. It's been a few years since I've done any men's groups. But I love the idea of it. I love the idea of connection, community. I'm trying to think of my divine moment with the divine feminine this last week. I was, to me, a lot of the divine feminine means being receptive. It's receptivity, and as opposed to just like barreling through, and it takes a lot of forms. You know, being receptive to my own thoughts, like kind of watching them, seeing where they're going, because sometimes you end up in a state you don't even know how you got there, but your thoughts are so fast, they're like boom, the next thing you know, you're but I think for me this week, it was I was playing Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur services for a local rabbi in Nyack, and at a church. And there were a lot of a lot of variables involved, a lot of things to organize, a lot of work involved. And so I was stressing a lot on whether this was going to work, whether that was one of the changes, whatever. And when I allowed, I think, the kind of like the receptivity to just take over and realize you can't really control. There's so much you can't control that don't even try. And just be receptive to, kind of spiritual energies and kind of the desire of people to connect, and especially around the music to connect. It was like a very beautiful thing when, I felt like I get, by using that or by connecting to that feminine receptivity, not the need to control, things could just emerge naturally. And then it evolved beautifully. It ended up being a very beautiful experience, very beautiful musical experience, and very beautiful, harmonious interpersonal experience with a lot of people. So, but I think it was facilitated by the fact that I didn't try to control, even though, I didn't try to control every facet, because things would change. People, it just went with it really, and then was able to just like let go and put my heart into it without worrying, you know. So that was my experience of the divine feminine in the last week, I'd say.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Eric Dore in Westport, Connecticut. Known Tom for a lot of years, since before he started this journey, and got to witness growing into the role that and way that he's created for himself and for all of us. My first in men's groups through Tom, when he was kind of training under his mentors and stuff, and that was powerful experiences that I had in that way. I'm really grateful for that. And I actually had a powerful experience of Sacred Feminine today. I recently lost my job, and I'm working on some other alternatives. It's kind of go time, you know. But I'm home with my wife, and I got to just experience the ability of the feminine to be really focused on the immediacy of life and the immediacy of enjoying life. And just being around the house with my wife, and you know, I'm working and I'm trying to be intense about what I'm doing, and we had to spend some intimate time together because she was able to kind of allow that for me and for us, despite the intensity of the time together. She's grounded in what's happening now and us being together now and enjoying that time together now, and not letting other situations prevent that from happening. So there's room for all that, and I'm really so happy and more than happy, just really grateful and blessed to be able to have that in my life today. Thank you, guys.
Wow, Eric. That's huge.
I'm nodding. I know you can't see me.
Yeah. I just want to even bring some more attention to it. Can you imagine, for all of the rest of us, can you imagine you lose your job and there's still intimacy? That's a gift from her to you and you to us.
Yeah. You know what? I can go further as to say that if that quality is one that we're identifying as a feminine quality, then I get to appreciate that sacred feminine within myself as well. It was something that was really available to me as well. It's not like I was sitting there, you know, with like typical masculine like fixation on go time. It was right there for me to embrace that energy as well. So, you know, I think it's important to remember the distinction between male and female versus masculine and feminine as energy forms, and how we can embody that, and how we do embody that ourselves, and how our women embody masculine energy as well, you know, the yin yang. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, it just warms my heart when men are able to express that type of connection. You know, in our culture, you don't often hear men saying how important that intimacy and connection is, especially with our wives. You know, it's almost like the male culture says that marriage is a bad thing. It's like, you know, I got this ball and chain, and there's so much negative connotations to marriage for men. But that's what I love about this space, is where men can honestly say, you know, I love my wife. I absolutely love my wife. And it just, thank you, Eric, for sharing that connection. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Michael.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Gaskell, and I'm living in Bushkill, Pennsylvania, which is like the Pocono Mountains, northeastern Pennsylvania. Just moved back up here, actually at the beginning of the year, after spending a lot of time in the South, but I'm originally from this general area. And I found this group because Joe Wilner, who participates a lot, I designed his website, You Have a Calling, which he launched, you know, we launched, I guess, 2 months ago now. And the way I found it, I guess, kind of ties into the divine feminine beautiful moment in a way, in that this year has been easily the most difficult of my life. And I was really struggling through for many months now, but especially through last week, to where Friday night I had to kind of get away and just spend time with myself and do some really deep thinking, and kind of figure out why am I struggling so much and all that kind of stuff. And I had searched for a group like this a few months ago after reading the book No More Mr. Nice Guy and talking about the importance of male support groups and all that, but I couldn't really find one because I'm kind of out in the sticks, out here. So as I was sitting there, I came across the thought that I really needed more just male support, and in whatever form, in a group like this or friends and whatnot. And within about 10 minutes, I opened up Instagram, and I saw Joe posted a screenshot of this group. And so I inquired to him, and I said, what's this all about? Because I was literally just thinking about this. And it was just kind of one of those moments that it was like, you're just as you're thinking about, like, the answer kind of appears. And then a few days later, Joe introduced me to Tom, and I think, I sent off an email, and Tom sent an email back halfway composed saying, I was just responding to this. Like it crossed right there. And then it was just kind of interesting, all these little things. And even today, which was a difficult day, I was like, I don't know, like I've been struggling today, but I just felt really compelled to come on here and take part of it. And already it's been a really enjoyable experience hearing just what you guys have already said so far. And I'm just really glad to be here. So thank you.
Fantastic.
I just want to say I got goosebumps because you connected the synchronicities. You call it the divine feminine, but all those little coincidences, those synchronicities, I believe, come from the divine feminine, if you want to call it that. But the fact that you listened to it and you showed up here today tells me that you're definitely in the right place.
I think so. There was some hesitation, with anything new when you first kind of join the group or whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit the button now. But, pretty much within the first few seconds, I just kind of felt very calm, and especially the drop in, that made me feel just really good. And like, okay, I feel really good and glad that I came. So
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Me too. That was beautiful. And I just want to say that it's almost universal that when a guy signs up for a men's group and it's at 8 o'clock, at about 6 o'clock, he says, I don't want to go to that. I think like Jim Campbell's in my local group, and he routinely, an hour before this, I wasn't coming here. So.
I was just saying the same thing just about an hour ago to my wife. Coming up at 3, I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. And she's a big support these days. She said, go do it for 5 minutes, and then you have permission to leave. So. And you know what? And with that, my name is Jim Campbell. I'm from Rockland County, part of Tom's, one of Tom's men's groups. I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I've recently come to a place where things have been coming together really well, and I've felt myself I got to a point of like everything has come apart again, and I am re-examining. I'm just taking a look at everything again. I'd say like 3 weeks ago, I put away my relationship with pornography to see how that affected my relationship, my sex life with my wife. And 2 weeks ago, I put down my relationship with drugs and with alcohol. Not because I thought like I had a problem with it, not because I was struggling with it. I just got tired of seeing it creep back into my life, and I got tired of feeling like it might be having some sort of effect on my relationship once again with my wife. So much of this is built around my rebuilding of my relationship with my wife. I inflicted a lot of damage to that relationship over the years, and let's see, divine feminine comes on for me. I have Sunday mornings is my time with my wife. Sunday mornings is my time that she and I schedule to have time alone, and we have sex. And this Sunday, things were really busy, and it just didn't happen. And I had the most amazing afternoon with this conversation of just diving into my unknown relationship of conditional love that I've grown up with and was instilled with by my mother, my family, my sister, and how I've taken this into my marriage and my relationship with my wife and and this conversation I had with my wife, and it was juicier and more intimate than those like 30 minutes that we have on Sunday mornings in bed. It was amazing. That was absolute divine feminism. With that, I'm in.
Very cool.
I just want to say, it's very moving. What you were saying was very moving, incredibly courageous and honest, incredibly honest. And I can't tell you how, I mean, it's really, you're really kind of inspirational. You're very clear about, where you're at. I mean, God knows how many years I spent not clear about where I was at, and you're right there realizing what needs to be, what would further you and what would drag you back, what would further you, I mean, I've been there myself, where, like addicted to pornography in the past and, like letting it get in the way of my relationships in the past and, so, and self-medicating in many different ways, to not want to, face the pain, the pain of, yeah. So anyway, I just really respect where you're coming from. I really, really admire your honesty and your courage. Really, I don't think it's easy what you're facing. What you're doing. I don't think it's easy. Because it's so easy to want to just go off into fantasy, go off into not being connected in a real way, but kind of running away from your problems and stuff, and what you really want. So thank you very, very much. That was great. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's I'm not drinking. I'm not getting high, and I'm not looking at porn, and I'm getting really like real and intimate and honest, not just with my wife, but I found like people on the street, strangers, people at work,
Yeah.
Family, like my sister, my mother, you know, friends of mine. And it's been really cool because it's new, you know. And it's like knowing all the colors in the world, and then suddenly someone pulls out like a new color. Like, well, did you ever see this color?
Yeah,
and you're like, holy shit, I've never seen that color. And it's clumsy too. That's one of the things I'm working on, with like being okay with feeling awkward and not knowing if I'm doing it right. And yeah, so, thank you for your support.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is Jim Channon, coming to you from Hawaii, the Big Island. Sitting on my 3-acre forest of edibles and beautifuls. Live here just because I can, and I decided to. A Mankind Project sort of member for about 10 years, and before that, Iron John, and so I'm over 100 or 1,400 men's groups in my life.
Wow.
Weeks in a year by now. I grabbed onto the phrases that include, you know, deep, honest, or deep, open, and true, as the premier thing we try to get to when we're really doing our shit well with the Mankind Project. It's kind of like what gets us to what we call it carpet work. What gets us to that place like, okay, buddy, you better crack this one open. Well, we're here to help you, you know? And I believe as we answer the question for other people about, well, how is your or this group different, it epitomizes that point of consciousness, which it's interesting you use the word Tao Tien, because I was trying to remember this thing by starting with D and going to the O and to the T, you know, deep, open, and true, Tao Tien. It's interesting. And Stephen Levine, when he talks about his death and dying stuff, comes to a place of open consciousness that he's talking about. And he says, let your stomach fall. Now, that's kind of like point number one. So I'm going, where's the dot, Jim? Up, go to the navel, 1 inch down, drop it. So that's dropping in and a place, and the more specific consciousness of cracking open and allowing others to come into the game with you on an equal. So my little story for the week is my cosmic angel and domestic partner came in to do a little cooking, and I could tell by the way she was throwing the pans around that there was something was afoot. You know, and so normal guy response is, okay, dig in your heels, you know, stand on your hind legs and prepare a counter argument, of course. And oh boy, that just doesn't work at all. So I did. I went to the soft belly space. I listened empathetically, because that's what creates a look in your eyes that you're not challenged by any remark, but you're simply available, empathically available, and that comes through your soft eye contact. And then Stephen added a piece which I remembered. He says he likes to sit sort of in the back of his mind and watch himself while he's thinking. He calls that noting. And when I noted that I was beginning to prepare to get ready to have a counter argument, I knew I was not in the zone for reception, appreciation, empathy, and all that. So then I expressed, the nicest way to express authentic concern is go, aw. That's a magic word. Aw. Like, I'm listening. Come on, say more. Oh, shit. I'm here. And then breathing regularly supports all of this. And then I avoided giving her either, oh, well, it's like my bad day, oh, I had a worse day than you. That's just, disempowers the response. And so I added that with a soft hug. And then the statement, can I help you with something? So another little thing. She has been on me for a day now, like with the memories of what happened after that, which was seriously Olympic sex. And she's just been she says she's writing me, driving to Hilo today. It's a long way away. She says, I'm still thinking about last night, and it's the sexual stuff. And all I can say is that might be of use is I had a bag of accessories that I used in the States. Being 77 years old, I can't always tell, depend on the big gun, So, but obviously my dedication to the task at hand was really appreciated. So happy to share that little loop, and I'll check in a little later with what Tom wanted me to talk about. I know a lot about imagination. I know a lot about what we call the bioasis development, how to live after the fall, all that stuff. But this is the heart of what I give a shit about. And I totally agree with Tom. This will spark stuff. I mean, I hope you don't mind being on the billboard for a while, but this is what it's going to take. You have to shake our totem out there a little bit. Love you guys. I'm really glad to be here checking in.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I find when you rip one off like that, I'm glad it's recorded, because I want to look at this 15 seconds and this 15 seconds and what. Great stuff. Hey, Richard, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you great.
All new technology.
All right.
Eastern Liquid.
So we're checking in. We're checking in with name, where you're from, and I don't need to explain this to you, but an incident, an experience with the divine feminine this week that lit you up and opened. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, but we're about halfway checked in, so just when you feel moved.
Sure, thanks. I'm good to go.
I figured.
Richard Arsick, not Acer, Fishbowl, whatever the fuck it says there on my phone. A little bit out of sorts. I'm just setting up my trailer. I just got it back. It's all fixed up and clean and beautiful. And it took 3 days longer than it was supposed to. And there's just, I'm a little out of sorts, but I'm getting into that place you said about the experience with Divine Feminine. I had a huge one. I think I shared it with you already, Tom. When I was in Sedona, meeting Jamie Lee for the first, well, I've met her once before, but spending time with her for the first time in my life, we meditated together. And during my meditation, Mary Magdalene came to me. I've never had anything like that happen before. And I told her that. And she said, oh, that it must be time for you to be initiated into the rose ray or something. She started spraying fucking rose water and oils and stuff all over the place. But what was happening to me was there was some sort of release going on. I was crying. I was fucking crying my eyes out. At the same time, I had an erection. And I was making it wrong. Like, what the fuck's the matter with you? You're crying your eyes out. You got this big fucking wrench on. What's going on? And in the midst of all of that, she put her hands on my heart. And then I heard her say something, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Actually, she puts her hand on my cock. It broke me wide open, man. It broke me wide open. It somehow made it all divinely okay that I didn't have to be ashamed of my fucking erection at that moment while I was in those tears, and that somehow it made it all okay. And I'll never forget that experience in my whole life. Unless I do. But it was amazing. And I'm in with that.
Wow.
And that's only one of many things that happened in the last 3 weeks when I was in Sedona.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. Good to be here.
Good to have you. I kind of feel like you've been doing a series of dances with the Divine Feminine since I've known you 5 years ago.
I suppose so. Especially the one inside myself.
But I'm picking up, Richard, a softness in you since you've met this woman. There's this.
She's amazing, and I love her, and I'm heading back to Sedona as soon as I can sell this fucking trailer.
Yeah. But it warms my heart to see you almost like a teenager in love. It's just beautiful. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Love you, man. I'm in with that. Thanks, man.
I'll jump in. My name's Colin Shriver. I live in a town called Patagonia in southern Arizona. It's pretty close to the border with Mexico, south of Tucson, about an hour. And it's a really, really magical place. It's called the Sky Islands. There's mountains that rise up out of grasslands everywhere. And not a lot of people. A lot of open land and a lot of sky. And my connection to the feminine right now is a lot in the season and the change of the season that's happening. Autumn's always been one of my favorite seasons. I grew up in Minnesota where the trees are so beautiful and colorful, and this time of year they're just full of vibrant colors, and they're falling. The leaves are falling in the wind, and it's amazing. And here it's different. There's not a lot of color in the same way, but just watching the grasses change color and watching the flowers now turn to seeds and drop their seeds, I'm feeling very connected to the season in a way I never have. And it's actually bringing me very close to what I feel is the dying process, which autumn is a lot. The earth is pulling back in a lot of its energy, a lot of the plants and the trees, and so much is receding or falling away, or even just sinking into the earth. So my connection with the feminine right now is kind of strange, but it's more this like witnessing the dying off of life around me, and the winter approaching. And it's strangely beautiful, and I'm really in love with the nighttime right now, sitting outside at night and just looking at the stars or feeling the darkness and the emptiness around me. I'm in.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Receiving. I'll go. My name is David Petratus. I'm in New York City. I know Tom, Colin, and Richard from the Claim Your Inner Throat work. And I've been doing some follow-on work with Tom because I wanted to continue to integrate some of the archetypal work and the inner movement that was going on. And that's been my quest, and I think part of that is exactly what the introductory question is about, the relationship of the divine feminine to my divine masculine, and also to the little boy archetype. And I think that one of the things that has occurred to me, it's not just the last week, but over the last couple of weeks, has been in the morning I usually get up and I sit and pray and meditate at a table that I've set up with things to remember, to give me memory and to give me strength. And I've moved significantly in seeing my mother as a totally loving person. She's been dead now for 20 years, 25 years now. And I always had a little bit of a friction relationship with when she was living. And not a little bit, but quite a bit. And it affected my relationships as well. In the last few weeks, I've been able to integrate the vision of her with the vision of the Divine Mother. And during the Reclaim Your Inner Throne, I said I was trying to integrate a prayer of the Divine Mother into my praying. And the only thing I could come up with was the Beatles' Let It Be, and the 4 short lines: Mother Mary, come to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And that's a divine feminine prayer that I regularly do now. So, and it reminds me. And I guess with that, I'm in. That's me.
Oh. Thank you, David. So I think, Rob, are you
Yes.
ready?
Yep. Rob Young, Nanuet, New York, in Rockland County. And I'm not sure the Divine Feminine and I have come across each other this week. It's been one of those weeks. So yesterday was one of those days where just nothing seemed to go right, and I just wanted to go to bed early and just close my eyes and not wake up until it was a new day. So bunch of stuff just kind of went haywire. So I don't know. That's can I tell another story? There's something else you want to tell? That's all I got. I'm sorry to be a downer on that one, but I got nothing with the Divine Feminine right at the moment.
Well, who did a female cut your hair?
No.
Okay. It's worth a shot. Because it's a good haircut.
Thanks. No.
And Rob, I will just say that there's no apologies needed. You're not being a downer. You're sharing your truth, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Thank you. So that leaves me, and I had 2 that came to mind. The first one quickly is I went to my niece's college. It was a big to-do. My sister was on the trustee board and everything, but everywhere we went, my niece said she grabbed some other junior in college and said, "This is so-and-so. I love her. She's my best friend." And then we're like, oh, and we met her, and then she went the next place. "This is another one. She's my best friend." And then it got to be like the 6th one. "She's really my best friend." And it was like, these people just all love each. And they have like a group of 9 and the whole school has 400. And so these 9 really love each other, and they're doing it really ferociously and amazingly. So that is mine. The other one was just, I've shared it with a couple of you, that there's a local wellness company around this area that we had been meeting, my wife and I had been meeting with just to do their social media, and we really had a good connection. And then it turns out that this wellness company just got like partnered with Abundance, and they came over and we met again, and the woman said, we're looking to do this wild, ambitious wellness center in this area, but we don't have any involvement with men, and we want men to be a big part of it. And I jokingly, like I do, I said, okay, well, thank you for checking in. I'll check in now. I'm looking for a big, amazing wellness company to become their director of men's programs. And she went, oh, well, then let's back up. Will you be the man who directs? And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and it was just like, you know, I guess the message is just do my thing and keep being open and receptive, and then all of a sudden the world opens up, and we'll see. And they're actually tasking me, or I tasked myself with, I'm going to put together a proposal and give it to them and all this like masculine stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. But it's just a, you know, it's just it's a gift in and of itself that type of a serendipity exists.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm in.
That's great. I just want to say congratulations with that, and the synchronicity is like, you know, it's not an accident. It's really not an accident, because when you put yourself on the path of being open and knowing what you really kind of want from the universe, even if it isn't specific, you know, the universe will, arrange itself for you. It really will, if you're open.
Yeah.
If you're open and you're not, you know. So that's just wonderful news, Tom.
Thank you.
Great news, and you know.
Thank you, Elliot. And I want to. This is as good a time as any. This is Elliot's first time here, first time on these calls. I know Elliot because at Glenn Schloss's, who's been on these calls, he's the drummer. He's the drumming shaman who's lights up this area a couple times a month. Elliot is the rock solid guy who's always sitting right next to him, even when he's the only one sitting there. And so it's like you come in, me and Elliot do a fist bump. You know he's there. He's the, you know, the number two, like the sidekick who's
the setup guy.
Yeah, exactly. You're the rock.
Yeah.
And Jim Campbell has that rock quality. So yeah. Amazing. And David P. and I were talking today, and I swear we were talking about that way of listening, Jim Channon, that you were describing. We went deep into detail about how, like, as men, we tend to go, if somebody says, yeah, I went to Newport last weekend. Oh, yeah, I went to Newport when I was in college. It's like,
I love it, yeah.
Oh, so it's about you.
All of a sudden, it's all about me. Yeah.
How'd that happen? So let's do this. Let's do a lightning round of where the divine feminine, Eric Dore modeled this, but where is the divine feminine in us? And try to distill it to a couple sentences. Like, are we pleased with how our divine feminine is showing up, or do we want to work towards, you know, or just like some feelings about that? And you'll see when the first couple people.
I personally really struggle with identifying it as the divine feminine. I process more in the king, warrior, magician, lover context in terms of the experience. And so for me, when you say divine feminine, I would put that in my lover quadrant. And The joy that I feel on a daily basis, the deep rooted, I just feel joyful to be alive every day. I feel that every day. Despite all the shit that happens, I still feel this joy because of the 25 years that it's taken me to get here. But in that lover space, I just feel this aliveness. And that's it for me. Just this joy.
Oh.
Yeah, I contrast with Michael. I feel very close to my personal feminine qualities, and I've tried to, for a long time ago, tried to at least be aware of them and hone them. Even though I know that I'm more likely to be a masculine man and do very men-like things, yeah, I see also the value of the feminine archetypes in at least playing with them, and not just the lover, but the witch, the queen, and you have the light and the dark on all of those, and the inverted. I have fun playing with those, and I give a lot of feedback to women who are online, not much physically in face to face, on their comments about being empowered women, witchy, or being a queen, or their own empowered warrior energy. That's the one, huntress. And so they have these same archetypes working through them, and we can work with them with all four of ours as men. We have to show up with the huntress as the warrior, and with the king, with the queen as a king.
Thank you. And if there's anyone who's muted who doesn't want to be muted, just if you can't get out of that, just kind of wave around. But I'll go next. I feel like lately I am in the lover, feminine, magician almost all the time. And it's always nuancing energy and connection. And so I feel like I may be even spending too much time there. And I want to consciously go chop wood. With that, I'm in.
I find myself sitting around the fireplace with some of the young men around here, and I can generally, within a few minutes, tell which ones are feeling a little bit out of it. And so I'll sidle my way around to get to that place. And imagine this is somebody's shoulder here. Here's something about touching. Men don't talk a lot about touching, but if you notice, a good masseuse will put the hand down first to tell the body there ain't nothing more going to happen here. Seriously, you slide toward the neck, maybe, and then pinch that part of the neck that's always, stuck and froze up. And then just say, I've been watching you, and I'll say it slowly and softly for a while, and I think you have something to offer this community. And if you want, we could talk about it someday. And the whole thing's pretty much tonal, invitational, and that little manly son, I got you by the sternoid here, whatever. By the way, I use my hands a lot because I used to be a puppeteer. So this guy could be talking to this guy. Hi. And I'll probably do that before it's over. Too tempting. There's so much wasted space here. I'm in on that.
Hey, Jim, we're still having problems hearing you. You start off real low, and then as you speak, it seems like it sort of ramps up, but we're still having problems hearing you.
I was advised to get a headset, and I haven't found one I think is good enough. But I did a full check-in with that this morning, or before we started, and Tom said, "No, you're good." But maybe it's a power issue. But I'm gonna work on it.
It could be. It could also be like Michael Taylor. Your microphone is so powerful that there's kind of a hum, and there's several. So we got to work on the.
Well, there's a spot. There's a spot you can go in and adjust the level that your audio is detected at, and actually turn it down a little bit so it's not so precise. Like I always know when you're going to talk, Tom, because I hear this big breath the moment you're about to speak.
Me, so I have to turn mine down.
I would think so. You seem very loud.
Okay, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it too. Like I was thinking that other people were. Anyway, so we'll continue to hone. But
was there something that I was saying that you missed then that you want me to try and say again?
I miss what you're saying.
All of it.
Did you get that?
No, I had you muted for a second.
Oh, no. Jim, what I was saying was I could hear you, but there were messages popping up in the chat that certain people can't. But what I am noticing is when you begin talking, it's very low, and then it starts building up for some reason.
Okay. We have that information. We're working on it. Thank you.
Yep. And then we're at 9:13. So if
I would like to share something,
sure,
if there's time.
Absolutely. No, just kind of for everyone, just kind of essence speak.
Sure. So my wife is in the other room cooking dinner, and she must somehow know what we're talking about because she just came in here and handed me a note. She's never done this before. But to premise the note, the biggest way I've been experiencing the feminine inside myself lately is developing greater capacity to receive pleasure, to open up and hold pleasure in my being and in my experience. And there's many ways I've been doing that. One of them is definitely through food. And what my wife Leticia just brought in, she wrote, "Just if you want, you can share with the group tonight the menu that I'm preparing with my delicious food from my loving touch. And maybe you can share how much we enjoy eating. So here it is. Thai green curry with tofu and lemongrass and mushroom samosa. Love. Just break the ice." So there you have it. I'm going to be eating some food filled with love and pleasure as soon as this call is done.
And your face speaks volumes. Your smile, you just lit up. I mean, just like a Christmas tree. That's just beautiful, dude.
Did you hear what he's eating?
Yeah.
I mean, geez, that would make anybody smile. No, I'm playing.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I'm a lucky man.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for
you. Well, that time that 3 weeks in Sedona, I was treated very wonderfully by Jamie. She made me green drinks in the morning and lunches and dinners, and I'm the one that's usually doing that. I'm the one that's cooking, and that's how it's been all my life. And to be on the receiving end and to let that worthiness in myself sink in was another beautiful piece of my experiencing the divine feminine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
God, I love women. And there was a piece, Michael, I would challenge you because that's what I do. But around the archetypes and the divine feminine, I think the divine feminine is an archetype in me. And it's something that is part of me, just as the warrior and the magician and the lover, and any of those can be masculine and feminine at any given moment, in my opinion. And when I embrace the pieces of myself that I was shut down to at a very young age, as I think many men are made to believe that that there's something wrong with the feminine. Don't be a girl. Don't do this. Are you weak? Don't be a sissy. Don't cry. Don't show your emotions. All the things that are associated with the divine feminine or the feminine are the things that I believe most men, and myself first and foremost, had to reintegrate into myself in order to be whole. So, yeah, it was very important for me to come to that distinction. And I think the planet as a whole is actually embracing the divine feminine in a much larger way right now. And that will bring, in my judgment, the peace on earth that we desire so much. It is to bring back that holy union, the yin and the yang, the balance between the two opposites, which is, that's where I'm heading.
Good.
Well, guys, this is Eric. I'm going to build on that and on what Tom said, because I would say I was steeped in sort of a very feminine energy environment growing up. And I've always seen, like, it took me a while to figure it, but I have a lot of feminine energy strong with me. And my wife tends to be a relatively masculine energy woman. So an interesting kind of yin-yang happening there. And I've almost kind of felt like I had to go in the search of empowering my masculine. Like Tom was saying the other day, like you tend to be very like lover, magician oriented, which is what he said about himself a second ago, right? And that's kind of always been the case with me. So I found like the journey for me was really about balancing those forces and I mean, I had to kind of be my own father in a way, not because I didn't have a father, but because my father didn't know how to impart those elements, you know. And for me, it was like going back and doing some martial arts training, which is where I met my wife, in fact, and just various things of that nature, like chopping wood, like Tom was saying, just really embracing that element. And I feel like I've come to a place of valuing and integrating and balancing both halves of that equation, and that's feels great. That's all I can say about it. I don't know if I touched on was there something else I was supposed to say or address in this check-in that I missed?
No, you've done beautifully.
All right, because I want to get the assignment right, quote unquote.
Yeah. Well, I just can't help but say, because I notice these things. Eric is 6'7" or 6. He's a very powerful, deep voice, powerful man, and he went to Vassar, which is like a traditional Jewish or a traditional woman's. You know, it's co-ed, but it's almost so. Yeah, it's wild that you are this just like at first glance power-packed, masculine, but there's so much feminine inside.
Yeah, and I would even call you out on juxtaposing power-packed against feminine, in the way that came out. I'm messing with you, man.
Sure, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
so, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got a big body, but you know, energy's energy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll pass the talking stick. But guys, I just want to. This is my last time. If this is my last time talking tonight, I just want to express such deep appreciation for you guys. Tonight was so powerful for me, and everything you guys shared. I mean, it was so profound, and I can't wait to share the video of this with people in my life that I want to see be part of this, and that will resonate. It just all fingers up for like Jim just did. I wish my camera were working. Phenomenal. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I have to jump in and say I feel like Eric kind of took the words out of my mouth, because I think about 90% of what he said I was thinking of saying. But what has been interesting about tonight for me has been, although I feel like there was so much feminine, and I for a while now been kind of searching for more of the masculine, there's been a lot of anger towards the feminine, almost because of how difficult things have been lately, and how I feel like if I had a greater balance, that maybe that wouldn't have happened. But what I really appreciated from listening to everyone's story is, you know, it's really not the feminine side's fault, and there shouldn't be anger there. And, you know, just because maybe there was something lacking on the more masculine side and kind of going down that path, you know, is also important to kind of bring everything into balance. That it's actually helped me to release some of the frustration that I've been feeling for months, actually this entire year now, towards that side of me. So it's really been an enlightening evening just for that alone. And I really appreciate everyone sharing and everything you guys have said. It's been a really wonderful time for me.
Thank you, Chris.
No accidents that you showed up tonight.
That's right. Elliot, are you talking?
Not here. Should I?
No, I got you unmuted.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just want to thank everybody for a really nice group tonight. The Define Feminine to me, how I'm relating to it is nurturing, is being able to be aware of being able to nurture myself in the proper way and be able to nurture, you know, the people I meet in a positive way. So that's how I'm relating to it these days, as a nurturing thing. You know, as opposed to you know, barreling through and getting my way thing, or you know, making my plans and checking off the list. You know, you know, it's making sure that wherever I in any encounter, it's like being able to be receptive, being able to listen, and then being able to, you know, give what I can give. If it's you know, a joke, or if it's advice, or if it's just an ear, you know, just somebody that, you know, listen to somebody vent or do this or that or whatever. It's just like being there and kind of nurturing in that way. That's how I kind of relate to that energy, the feminine energy, the feminine divine energy. I guess that's how I understand it in some ways.
Awesome.
You know, kind of where it's not clearly directed, where it's like it's like deep, it's shifting, it's like connected. Everything is connected. You know, it's not, you know, it's not regimented. It's not in a little box. It's not separated. It's not, you know, delineated. It's not delineated. It's free flowing. You know, and it's yeah, and hopefully I'm there more than not. Of course, I'm not always there, but you know, that's how I relate to the feminine divine energy.
Thank you. And if feminine energy is in movement and masculinity is stationary, you are in a lot of movement in your little box.
Yeah, I see you living it.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Elliot. Yeah, you guys are incorporating your checkouts in what it's amazing. So
my dinner's on the stove, so that's why.
Exactly.
I can actually smell the food cooking, so you know.
Yeah, I want to just give I want to give space to anyone else who wants to weigh in, but if we have 5 minutes, if we want to just kind of weigh in on how this resonated, or and many of you have. But before that, I want to reiterate that this is a grand experiment. This is we're testing things, and I'm starting to organize around the fact that we can test different things, and a men's group will break out every time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so Jim and I have talked about next week doing a little bit of a, Jim's going to maybe do a little bit of a talk on community, conscious amazing physical community, emotional community. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, nobody's pro-nuclear war and no one's anti-amazing community. So, so yeah, and you know what? We may get halfway into it, and it may gallop someplace else. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. What'd you say, Jim?
Yes. Yesterday, when I was looking at the number of possibilities for, say, 3 acres and 15 people, it was everything from a farm to an ashram. So, and all of those things in a little bit, you know, flavor of, I've got about 7 flavors on my combo right now. Also have a 15-minute video. Would a video play here on this?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yep.
do that and give everybody, you know, a vocabulary to speak about.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and you can go a lot of directions.
And especially, it's like you call it a bioasis, right? And I'm starting to think like a bioasis. That's, you have that land in Hawaii that's a bioasis, but don't we have a bioasis that we walk around with skin on top of, and all the different, you know, we are an ashram and a farm and a, you know, metaphorically. So I think that could be it. It's the beauty of everything that we can conceive of, we have to bring back and like plant inside of us.
Yeah.
Like there's no sense talking about Trump unless we talk about Trump in us. That's points off for being the first one to mention Trump in an hour and a half call. I realized that. Take the hit. I take the hit. So yeah, and I think that this can also spur on additional men like Chris and Elliot who community, that's my thing. You know, I know Eric Dore has always been fascinated with that, and Colin talks about it a lot, like just community, and I've seen Colin emphasize community completely and then say no, I'm going in. I'm okay either way. So yeah, let's just do quick, maybe couple words, how you're being right now as we check out.
I find this very fascinating. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah, I find this fascinating because this is a very cold medium. It's a cold medium, and and we're talking very warm, heart-oriented stuff. So you know, it's because it's so different from being with somebody in the room. You know, and like, you know, it's very interesting. So I find the whole experience to be very interesting, and I think you might be onto something here. I mean, because you know we're all just, you know, we're with our phones, we're with our, you know, I mean, we're completely all the time, and again, it's a cold medium. It's like, so it's like, you know, it's a very mental thing, but yet a very, you know, to connect emotionally over this cold medium, I think is challenging in some ways. You know, it's a little challenging, but you know, because you figure, you know, I'm on this cold medium, you know, I have this desire to check my phone, you know, like I feel like I'm feeling like I haven't checked like my emails, like it's ridiculous, you know. So anyway, that's my rambling checkout.
Get all the people that you might call or call you and get them on here.
Yeah.
It's an interesting medium, and I've begun to like this one really, really well. It's a good piece of technology. For my checkout, I want to say that I'm not because I'm hungry, but I'm feeling really warm down in my belly, and it's really present. It's soft and not hard, and it's not the dot below the belly button, though. Thank you for that one, Jim. I'll remember that one. Yeah, and interested in the community stuff because I'm a guy of a certain age as well, and I looked into building a commune when I was in my 20s, and read a lot about community stuff, but the new stuff that's coming out, a lot of it is very, very, very good and well thought through, and actually thinking through things psychodynamically and group dynamically is better than trying to muddle your way through as 20-year-olds, you know? Anyway, with that, I'm out.
Oh.
I'll go next. Checking out with a full heart. Truly feeling connected. Metaphysically speaking, I believe the reason that it works is because we allow ourselves to open our hearts. And when we do that, that's a place where we're already connected. And that's what allows us to have this experience of connection. That's, I think, the beauty of it. The fact that men can come together, open their hearts, and feel what's present and share that. And that's why I do this work, to get men in that space. So thank you, men, for opening your heart and sharing yourself with me. And I'm out.
Thank you, Michael, and you do this work extremely well.
Thank you.
Jim, you're muted.
There you go. Now you're up.
Okay. Okay. I'm checking out, and I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm feeling safe, and very grateful to have this group of men that Tom, you're able to bring together, and allow me to be honest and true and share that in a safe space. I feel very good. Thank you.
Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
So I'm checking out. I think the key word is feeling gratitude for the experience, but also the honesty and the level of discussion in that it was both deep, but also very just a high level of discussion. I'm trying to think of a better word than that, but one's not coming to mind. But just it was really nice that it wasn't surface level, that it did really delve deep. And I thought it was so interesting to hear what everyone said, and I felt like there was a little bit of a connection, or at least I was able to connect to a little bit of everything that everyone said. So it was really nice.
That's the hallmark. Thank you. It's great.
So this is Eric. I want to go on Chris's heels this time and say that's what I was thinking too, Chris. Gratitude, man. That's what I'm feeling too. And it's amazing to have this as a resource. I'm leaving feeling empowered, inspired, and hopeful for the world.
Awesome.
Check out with thankfulness for this group, but also with the knowledge that I got a lot. I guess I still got a lot to learn. You guys, when you start talking about kings and queens and things like that, I have no freaking clue what you're talking about. So. I'm assuming there's a book somewhere somebody can point me towards that I can lean on that. But
Just go do some ayahuasca and then come back to doctor.
We'll hook you up. We'll hook you up, Rob.
sounds good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's an awesome beauty to that. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'm gonna come. Love it.
I'm checking out, feeling happy and hungry.
You're a beautiful man, Colin.
Thanks, Tom.
Check the chat room, Rob.
So
I see that.
I think that's everybody. Jim, you want to close us out?
I'm just playing with my faces here. Well, I thought everything was. It could have been kind of complicated and overdone, but you guys did it smoothly. I'm in my center. Are you? Hi.
And so it's done.
So Jim, all I want to say, Jim, is I want to be just like you when I grow up.
If you're growing up, you've got the wrong track.
Going in the wrong direction.
All right, guys.
So good. So good.
Nice laugh. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, guys. Thank you.
Adios.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Fantastic.
Uh-huh.